Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Let's look at the NFL and our picks against the spread on the season. I went 2-2 last week for 18-13 overall. You went 2-2 as well for 20.
I did good. That's right. I got the New Orleans.
Yeah, you got that New Orleans one. Yeah, I believed in
Nice.
Brady a little bit too much. That was about as ugly as it gets. And then you are 21-10 overall. So things are a little bit closer.
A little bit.
In the NFL. Let's see here. That's a wrestling joke from Ryan. Hope everybody's having a good night
6
wherever
stars in Japan.
you are watching us. Bye weeks this week: the Jets, the Chiefs, my Cowboys. We can't lose, baby, and the Falcons. I was almost pissed that the Cowboys were beating the Steelers on Sunday because I'm like, it would be the most Cowboys thing in the entire world to be setting yourself up. I think right now, if the season ended, the NFL draft, I think the Cowboys would be 4th. I'm like, you're setting yourself up for a top 5 pick, and you're going to blow it.
And you're going to beat the only undefeated team
right? Like just
in the NFL.
Like stop it. Like Garrett Gilbert looked good. Potential backup maybe behind Dak next year. I did see that they're turning the reins back over to Andy Dalton, who should be returning this week. So maybe it looks like
he's going to be on a very short leash.
Well, it looks like they're committing to losing, so that's a good thing.
There you go. It's like letting Cam Newton play.
But yeah, I love the takes from last night's game, by the way. Everybody like, Super Cam is back. He leads him to a win. I'm like, that was the 0-9 Jets. Like, you know that, right? Like, the Jets are terrible.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, Adam Gase and the Jets. I did love that it was Nick Folk that closed that one out. Former Jet.
That is pretty
But yeah, Super Cam not back. The Patriots are still trash. I thought, and I'm watching the first half of that game last night. I'm like, they're tanking. They want Trevor Lawrence.
I sent you a message. Yeah. I told you, and I said on the podcast last week, if you got some fun money, bet it on the Jets and both.
I don't remember what the spread was on that one, but yeah, brutal. Just absolutely brutal. All right, 4 games, Sean. We have we're going to start Thursday night. I think this might be the first time we've picked a Thursday night game since opening week. But not a great slate in the NFL this week. So that's why we're looking at one on Thursday. It is an AFC South battle. The 5-3 Colts at the 6-2 Titans, who are a 1-point home favorite. 49 is the over-under, this one on Fox. The Titans keep winning, but I still say this team's a fraud. I don't think the Colts are any better, but I have to stay on brand. I've been calling out the Titans for weeks. They're not good. Who'd they play this week? They barely beat. They struggled.
The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears suck.
Yeah, but the Bears are
the Bears suck.
The same team, mediocre offense. Normally a good running game.
The Bears suck.
The Bears are bad, but their defense is real good. Their defense
is good, but they suck. They're the Bears, and the Titans are a fucking fraud. I don't care. They're a fraud. I have the Colts.
Sour. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I think people are way too high on Tennessee. So I'm going to take the Colts. Again, 1 point. If you're taking the cover, you're probably taking a victory. Theoretically, could be a tie. But I'm taking the Colts to cover and win. But I'm taking the under. These offenses aren't very good. I think it's going to be a defensive game. As long as Phillip Rivers doesn't have to try and tackle somebody, I think the Colts will be fine.
Yeah, I've been pretty high on the Colts all year, and the Colts defense, and kind of being, this kind of being the team that surprised me. I didn't expect a lot out of the Colts. I think that they've come in and been one of the best defenses around. But, last week, coming in, getting a chance to play Baltimore. Now, I'm not saying those two defenses are in the same breath, but they're close. And you got a struggling Baltimore offense. And and this may have just been Baltimore's defense stopping the offensive games, but this is a team that, you put up a ton against Detroit the week before and 41 points. You played the Bengals, you put up 31. Congratulations. But against teams with defenses, they've really kind of struggled to put up some points. I mean, even against that Bears team, which, by the way, the Colts have also beaten by less points. It was 19-11. But they I don't know. I feel like the Colts are kind of untested with their current regime in larger games. I think this is probably the most meaningful game they've had to step up and play. And I think it's nothing new for the Titans. I think the Titans, having gone on that run last time, the fact that you can run against the Colts, and the Ravens kind of proved that as best they could with their mix of 100 guys or whoever was touching the ball. Well, there's someone a little better than who the Ravens have running at you this time. I'm going to take the Titans, which, by the way, their only losses are a fluke one, I think, to Cincinnati and a very close one to Pittsburgh. Of course, Pittsburgh barely beat Dallas, so what do I know?
I'm aware, but they've had a lot of close wins as well against bad teams.
Okay, well, you can believe what you want. Titans are going to win this one. It's going to push the over, surprisingly, despite the defenses on the field. And Derrick Henry's going to haunt your dreams.
Well, he still does from that national title game, so that still hasn't changed.
Going to keep on haunting. It's going to be Derrick Henry in 2 different uniforms.
That's what I said. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, as a Notre Dame fan, I don't know if I'd rather have Alabama in the first round of the playoff or in the national title game. Maybe the first round, because at least then it's a different place that you could haunt my dreams.
At least then you had no hope.
Yeah, don't get me back to a title game unless you're going to freaking win.
You beat like a Clemson team, or you beat somebody else, and then just like bam, Alabama just murders you like last time.
Although for the first time, and I am happy about this, like a lot of college football analysts are saying that, I mean, unless Notre Dame gets boat raced, I mean, assuming that Notre Dame wins out, Clemson wins out, you play in the ACC title game. Unless Notre Dame gets boat raced, they're probably still making the playoff.
Still make the playoff
because of that win. So like that makes me feel good. They know the road ahead of them. But like it would be the most 2020 thing in the fucking world if everything else is on fire. Notre Dame wins a national title. Like and that's in December. Like it's closing out the year strong. Like
just lock it up.
I'm totally fine with it. I'd be totally fine with that. Not the rest of the year, but I'd be fine with the national title. Then we go to Sunday, 1:00 on Fox. A battle for first place in the NFC. The 3-4-1 Philadelphia Eagles are a 3-point road favorite at the 2-7 New York Giants, who are still totally alive in the NFC East. 42.5 is the over/under. 1:00 on Fox. This game stinks.
Yeah, it's technically not a battle for first.
No, I guess the Eagles would still have
cannot catch the Eagles.
The Eagles would still have like a 1.65 game lead. I can't figure it out with bye weeks and ties. It's silly. But so what? 1.5 it would be at that point, because it'd be 3-7 and 3-5-1. So it'd be like 1.5.
I don't even know how to do it. The 5-1 and the 7. There's I feel like there's games lost in the.
Did they lose games here?
Like the Giants have played clearly 6 more games than the Philadelphia Eagles. I
guess the Giants haven't had their bye, or the Eagles have had 3
looks
byes.
Like you just didn't play for weeks.
I'm taking the Giants to cover and win. I can't pick the Eagles. I'm not confident in it, but I don't like picking the Eagles. I just hope Carson Wentz turns the ball over 4 times like he did against the Cowboys, and the Giants find a way to win.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Giants' defense is a little better than Dallas's, so you better not, kind of turn over. They're a little more opportunistic.
Sean, our high school alma mater's defense is better than the Cowboys.
True. I drove past a little midget league soccer practice, and I'm pretty sure they showed more promise on the defensive side of the ball.
Probably.
However, this is an Eagles team. Because people, and I said this, people have been bashing this NFC East. They've been like, oh, well, all these teams are garbage. And the trouble you're in the first quarter of the season or the beginning of the second quarter of the season is if you've dropped a bunch of games, if you can win a handful in a row, all of a sudden, because if the Eagles win this, we're over 500 technically because we have a tie. I feel like we're technically over 500. 4-4-1.
Is it?
Is that exactly 500?
I still think
I think
it's exactly 500. You're at 500.
Trying to turn the page.
You're at like 500. I guess you're at like 500 because
I guess you'd be technically at 500, right?
You would be 500 because the same arguments you could make for being like 500 plus, you could argue for 500 minus, especially because you probably should have beaten the Bengals.
It would be the first time on my recent memory that we would have been exactly 500 after playing an odd number of games, which is
right
a talent in itself. If you ask me, that's more impressive than just being 6-2.
Is it though?
Either way, page can be turned. You hit the 500 mark this time. The Eagles have a fairly favorable run here, mostly because we play in the NFC East. That's helpful. The team is healthy. Miles Sanders expected to practice. Alshon Jeffrey to return to practice, whatever condition he's in. I don't even know how old he is anymore. But you got a Jalen Reagor healthy, had a couple of weeks to get ready again. This is going to be the healthiest we've seen this team in several weeks. I don't know how much of the offensive line is going to be there, and Lane Johnson can only play in 3-play segments anyway. But it's a Giants team. Carson Wentz turn it over a handful of times. Danny Dimes can easily do the same thing. I think the Eagles come in here. They take control. You've had an extra week to get ready. I think the Eagles win. They cover. What was my over-under mark on this one?
42.5.
Over. I think the Eagles score plenty of points. I think they have the weapons to score some big plays, and the Giants do too once they have to pass. So I think this one pushes over easily.
Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, then we go to 4:05 on Fox. The 7-2 Bills, the first place 7-2 Bills, are at the 5-3 Arizona Cardinals, who are a 2.5-point home favorite. The 54.5 is the over/under on this one. 4:05 on Fox. This one I looked at and I started writing down the Bills, and Ryan was admiring our math skills. On that one. I started writing down the Bills, and it's not that I don't believe in the Bills, because I think this team is pretty good. They're 7-2 for the first time since I think Jim Kelly was the quarterback in those Super Bowl seasons. I'm not totally sold on them. I also like this Cardinals team. Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. Like this team is fun to watch. So I started writing down the Bills. I changed it. I'm going with the Cardinals to cover the 2.5, obviously to get the win. I'm going to go over. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game, but I think it's going to be one of those last possession sort of games. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals to win, and I'm even going to go bold.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up.
What?
Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
You heard it here first.
Well, I can't lock it up then. Either way, to defend my math skills, I'm looking at a team that's going to be playing their 9th game. I saw 4 losses. In your brain, you just assume you're going to be 5-4. The tie just messes up all math. You look at it, and it just explodes into there's exponents, and there's parentheses, and there's all sorts of things that start screaming by your face. There's no reason you should look at a tie. The NFL still needs to clean that up. No reason there should be ties in the NFL. Absolute garbage.
God, who the hell cares?
No one really does. There's not enough of them to really complain about it, but every time one happens, people are just confused. So let's just eliminate them. Roger Goodell, I know you watch. Come on, man.
College overtime, infinitely better than NFL.
Oh, way more entertaining for sure.
Absolutely.
The NFL, because the NFL overtime, especially the way it stands, like there are teams that literally are like, we have no business being in overtime. Let's just play for a tie.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why are you running the ball 4 times? What is wrong with you?
Like you can't watch what happened in that Notre Dame Clemson game and tell me that wasn't more exciting than what you get on NFL.
Make
overtime.
them go in from like the 35
right,
or the
do
40.
35, 40, 45. But like, yeah, do
put them on the 5. What do I stop
We're
me,
here
you
in
know?
hour 16 of the Bills and Cardinals.
You got to go for 2 every play. Everyone.
there you
no kicks. Kickers are shot. One team just snaps it through the end zone, but you got this.
That was
I'm
the
exhausted, man.
XFL thing, right? There was no kickers.
No kickers.
You had
Not
a
in
1-point conversion from the 5. You had a 2-point conversion from like the 10, and a 3-point from the 15.
Anyway, Buffalo Bills had a pretty good performance last week.
They did.
Came out and absolutely baffled a Seattle offense. Threw a lot at Russell Wilson. Threw a lot at Pete Carroll, which I had fun watching.
Always fun watching Pete get beat.
Yeah, always good watching Pete get beat. But the Bills defense finally arrived. I mean, they still gave up a good bit of points to a good offense, but they did finally arrive. They showed some promise in the ability to get to the quarterback. Unfortunately, you had a very mobile quarterback in Russell Wilson. You're getting one of maybe 2 quarterbacks more mobile than Russell Wilson. Guy just came off a 104-yard rushing effort in addition to a couple 103 scores through the air. And I know that because I played against him in fantasy. Your wife's got the better of me in the fantasy in my own league. I feel like I lose to her every year, but it's okay. We're going to come back strong. Either way, I'm with you. I'm taking Kyler Murray in this one. It's definitely more of an agreeable week in both parties, I guess. But give me Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I like everything they're doing. I think they're a way better team without Kenyon Drake. So hopefully, if he is healthy enough to play, they're just like, yeah, why don't you just stay back there? Because we're just going to throw the ball all the time, and you're fat and slow. So why don't you just stay over there with your broken leg?
Which clearly, looking at the two of us,
healthy, and then the coach is just going to like snap his fingers, and someone's going to club him in the leg.
Which, let's be clear, if you
Yeah,
look
I
at the
still
two of
heard it,
us,
you know?
we are in the fat and slow club. So we're not making fun of
absolutely.
we're not making fun of anybody.
Sometimes it's a fun club to be in, but not when you're a football player.
Oh, this is a great club to be in. Each of the
It is.
almost every weekend, I'm drinking beer and eating hot wings, watching football.
Yeah, you have
That's a great
literally
club.
no expectations from anyone.
I'm eating hoagies. I'm eating wings. I'm eating pizza.
And you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like you're fat and slow club. You're like, what'd you eat for lunch today? Oh, well, I ate
Hot
another
wings.
pizza. Yeah.
I had pizza
I ate
and
a
wings. And I
cheesesteak.
drank beer.
Oh, you ate a cheesesteak? Yeah, it was a 6-foot cheesesteak from Subway. And people are like, oh, that's impressive. Like it's a feat of power. Like, wow, you ate that?
I'm not even mad. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, kindergartner walked too close. I might have swallowed that guy. I don't know where he went. I was eating pretty hard. And they're like, yeah, impressive. That kid probably weighed 50 pounds. So anyway, let's move on back to the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals. Give me the over. Let's move on.
All right, then we go to 425 on Fox. It is those Seattle Seahawks we just talked about. They are 6-2. They are at the 5-3 Rams, who are a 2-point home favorite. 55.5 is your over/under. This one is on CBS, 425 Eastern time. Man, I hate Seattle. I really hate Seattle. I want to pick against them every time I have the chance. That said, I just don't think this Rams team is all that good, and I think Seattle they want to get a big bounce back here. And they're a team that usually responds to that type of situation pretty well. So I'm taking Seattle to cover the 2 points. They're going to pick up the win, and I'm going to take the under, though. I think the Rams defense is going to take the film from last week. They're going to do some things, disrupt the Seattle offense, but you have just too many weapons with Seattle, and they're going to find ways to do it. But I'm going to take the under.
All right. You're taking the under and you're taking the Seahawks.
I am.
All right. I don't know how I'm going to defend this, what I'm about to say. Because I can't stand McVay, but I can't stand Carroll either. I don't believe in Jared Goff, and I completely believe in Russell Wilson. I don't know who's going to lead the Rams in receiving from week to week or who's going to lead them in rushing from week to week. But you can say that about Seattle as well. And I will say this, though. Aaron Donald is a much better player than anyone on Seattle's defense. And Seattle has a pretty good secondary, the Rams have a pretty good secondary as well. Almost said Seattle does, and I would have completely discredited anything I told you on today's program.
And that would have been
I have to apologize for almost falling on my ass. However, what I'm about to say, if you'd have told me that the LA Rams would be a 2-point favorite, home or away, against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 10 with a worse record than the Seattle Seahawks, I'd have slapped you in the face and told you to take all my money in a bet.
What the hell is even that?
Having said that, there's a reason people want you to bet on Seattle. There's something they want you to believe in. McVay's creative. You don't know who to defend at any given time. I will give him that. And because of that, a defense that can't seem to decide who to defend in the secondary anyway. Now, they do have Adams back. He played last week. He's getting healthier. That should help them a lot. I don't think it really matters because I don't think you have a strength. You have Cooper Kupp. Is he really going to draw safety help? No, because he's not that fast. So I'm going to take the LA Rams in this. I'm going to take them to cover. I think with the extra kind of week off, just a chance to get ready. I think McVay's going to have some things up his sleeve. I don't know how you stop Russell Wilson, and I don't think you really do. I think you just kind of contain him, which is why this game's going to push over. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. So, normally I wouldn't sell the Rams as entertaining unless it's a game where they're going to get absolutely murdered and it'll be fun to watch. But I think this one's going to be kind of a shootout, but kind of a crafty shootout. And I think when it comes to kind of the technicalities of coaching, that McVay's going to out-coach Carroll in this one. Give me the Rams.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? Lock it up.
Oh, wow. Really?
Lock it.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Ridiculous.
Okay. Wow, you fucking really the Rams.
Lock up the Rams over the Seahawks.
I would have never guessed that.
I've lost all belief in Seattle when they lost in Buffalo.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Sean, before we transition to golf and the NHL and NBA, real quick here, of course, we dole out the fantasy irrelevant touchdown of the week. So I turn the reins over to you to present your case for that.
Right. If there's one thing that the champion of the Fat and Slow Club would understand, it's irrelevance. So we've created the fantasy irrelevant touchdown of the week, and there were some finalists, not as many as other weeks. We had a Mercedes Lewis appearance, blast from the past. We had a Drew Lock rushing touchdown, not even honorable mention, either of those. Here's what I found. As a tie for honorable mention, we had a Devontae Booker Las Vegas Raiders touchdown this week. We had a Nick Mullins to a Richie James.
Who?
Yeah, I don't even know what teams they play for. We had, and then we move on to our top three. Our third place finisher, Nick Foles, we all know and love, found Ryan Nall for a touchdown, bringing his season stats to 6 catches for 39 yards and a score. Second place, we had an old friend of mine, somebody who couldn't do anything in Philadelphia, Tua Tagovailoa, through to Mac Hollins for a touchdown this week. Mac Hollins played several years in Philadelphia. This still may have been his first touchdown.
Sean,
and
hold on, speaking of guys that used to frustrate you in Philadelphia, how you feeling about Nelson Aguilar catching every touchdown in Vegas this year?
I'm not that surprised. When you look at Nelson Aguilar, in our Super Bowl run, we would not have been in that Super Bowl game were it not for the play of Nelson Aguilar going into that game. Aguilar had a great bounce back campaign that year. Has he played real great since? Not spectacularly in Philadelphia, but I don't think he played poorly since that first year. I think it's just kind of become this fun butt end of a joke. We've had a lot of receivers play a lot worse than Nelson Aguilar.
Apparently, he won hands at the craps table in Vegas.
Yeah, there's one hand just spilling his chips all over the place. So he pays somebody to carry his chips for him. But anyway,
back to the
Nelson Aguilar. In all seriousness, congrats to him. I'm glad he found a niche for himself, and I hope he does well. But our number one, your fantasy relevant touchdown of the week. He appeared as a finalist last week. He's come back to play again. Justin Herbert this week for the Chargers found Gabe Neighbors once again. Your fantasy irrelevant touchdown of the week. Season stats, 3 catches. Yeah, by the way, season stats, 3 catches, 11 yards, 2 touchdowns is Gabe Neighbors' season stats, in case you were wondering.
Who the hell is this?
3 catches, 11 yards,
touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
So, I mean, if you're that desperate in fantasy and you're going to roll the dice on Gabe Neighbors,
If you're in a 22-team league,
there's a pretty good
you
chance.
need a fill-in for your flex. Gabe, you could do worse than Gabe Nabors.
Because there's a chance that when he catches the ball, it's going to be a touchdown. And you will look.
You're a goddamn genius.
Let's remember, this is a team that has 3 running backs competing for fantasy viability. So how he's on the field, I have no idea.
It just doesn't make sense.
But either way, Gabe Nabors, your fantasy irrelevant touchdown of the week.
Congratulations. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?